go. All right. Well, hey, welcome, podcast listeners. Tennessee USA Wrestling Power Hour. A little bit different change of speed today. Usually Kenya and I, my co-host.
We're not in our bedrooms.
I know.
In our living room
Usually
this
we're
time.
looking at each other on the screen.
Yeah.
That's not the case this time. We are literally at the National Collegiate Duals. We are at MBA, Montgomery Bell Academy here in Nashville. Amazing event. But we actually have kind of a very unique, I guess, podcast show today.
Yeah.
Doing this actually during the second round of the second day competition. It's been an amazing event. A lot of great wrestlers. But we actually have a legend in the crowd. So Kenya and I are going to step aside a little bit and let this guy be our guest on the podcast. And then I actually have some of my young Guns Nashville wrestlers. Say hi.
Hi.
Here we go. They're going to be asking their guys some questions. But for those of you who do not know, I don't know where you've been, under a rock for the last, how many years, Royce? 40, 50?
We don't have to say how many.
Yeah, I mean a lot.
40 years. I graduated 40 years ago.
Wow.
From high school.
One of the true legends in our sport, and I can honestly say a friend of mine, and just very fortunate to have him here in attendance watching the wrestling. But Mr. Royce Alger, right there. Give him a hand, the other guys. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. For those of you viewers that know, I mean, Royce is, like I said before, a legend in our sport, not only as a competitor back at the University of Iowa as a two-time national champion, world silver medalist, multiple-time U.S. Open champion, now one of the coaches at Titan Mercury. You'll see him at World Championships every year, all the big tournaments, and not only that, but just an amazing ambassador for our sport and quite a storyteller at that. So hopefully we're going to get a couple stories out of him today and get that going. But first thing here with our show here, what I like to do, Royce, what do you think of our event? How's things here in Tennessee?
I'm impressed with the wrestling. The event's real intimate too, so it's, usually you get big venues and you can't fill them up, but this is right on you. I love the music.
Yeah.
Like I said, my son played in between rounds. He lives out here, so no, I'm real impressed. I came back for the first time this year. I came back to Chattanooga to do some work, and I was really, you guys have made Lightware, reminded me of Florida back in the day in Texas. You guys are bringing it. You got some guys that can wrestle now. And I don't say that in a bad way, but there's some old states out there like Iowa and Oklahoma and PA and Ohio and New Jersey that were light years, but not anymore. The South is spoken.
Love it. Awesome. Well, we're going to do that. Like I said, after we appreciate the kind words there, Royce. But now we're going to go. I got 6 of my young Guns wrestlers right here. These guys right here, and they have some questions here for the legend himself. Maybe we can get this program kicked off of that. So let's say here, go.
What was your best neutral takedown?
Best neutral takedown.
Cut double.
Cut double.
It's also the most efficient. It's not a driving double. It's to get in the step, and it has a lot of lateral movement. The one thing you always want to get in your wrestling is just a little bit of trickery on their feet, and it is. It's taking one side and cutting over. I call it my $250,000 move because it got me into the world finals in Tokyo, Japan, and I said that move is worth a lifetime of, I put a number on it, but it's probably more because it put me in the world finals. So that's my go-to.
Nice. Everett.
What type of dedication did you have to put into this?
You know what? I grew up on a farm, so I was used to working hard. I was blessed and didn't know it just because we were poor. We didn't hire out our labor and stuff. My job in the morning was, especially in the winter, but because the water would freeze, so I had to go to the pump, and I had about a 60-yard path that I used to carry 5-gallon buckets of water. And if you ever done it, water is heavy. So I would start, I can remember when I was in 4th grade, I could barely fill them both up and waddle there. Then I got stronger. Then I remember when I was able to. So I was getting workouts that I didn't even know that I was doing, And that's the thing about, I think was a huge edge for me. So by the time I got to be a sophomore in high school, I'd be grabbing, you know, guys' hands riding wrists, and they'd be like screaming to the ref, "I'm trying to break the wrist." That's that farm strength, and you can't get. It's stuff you gotta do every day. Now, if you want to do that in your personal life, get in the weight room, start doing push-ups every day. Do 100 push-ups a day, 100 sit-ups a day. But I got it, and I didn't even know I was getting it, and that ain't even including baling hay. When you're pulling 60-pound bales when you weigh 90 pounds, you know. So I had a trajectory that I didn't even know that I was on, just because of all the tedium growing up. So kind of blessed. I wasn't very happy doing it all the time. I wanted to go in and go swim, and I never got to play baseball because we had 5 brothers. We all had to go bale hay and walk beans. That's leaning over, pulling, you know. So it was a tough, I can say, but my childhood was tough. You know, my dad worked full time, and it just made me tough. So
talk about strength. I make these guys do ropes, rope climbs. What's the most rope climbs you've done in a row? Listen to this, guys. Most in Gable's room. How many in a row?
12.
12 up and down. 12.
You know what? It's funny. I just got interviewed for a podcast about 3 months ago, and on my day off, Terry Brands and we trained for 2 Olympics together. And on our day off, we would go over to the arena and we'd climb rope for 1 hour, and then we got to go do whatever we wanted to do, eat whatever we want for that day. But we had to climb rope for an hour. And there was times that, I mean, I was just like, I remember one time he stalled at the top. He was going for a personal best, like 21 or something. The little guys can climb rope better than big guys. But so I took my shirt off and I sprayed my whole body with stickum. You ever seen that sticky stuff? Sprayed my face and everything. And I climbed up like this, like I was trying to, in my feet, I had shoes on, and I got about 6 feet from him, and he let go. It came right down, hit my head, and we both came tumbling to the mat. And I had slivers. These ropes you can get slivers from them. The cords on them. I had a sliver in my eye. I had to go to the hospital, and I couldn't. Like 2 days later, I was like, I still can't see. He said, well, you got like 5 slivers because the rope came. I had a burn all the way down here, and all the way down. So that's what I think of when I think of ropes. I look around. See, I look around here, there wouldn't have because of liability. Maybe there is a rope over there. Nope, that isn't a rope. Just for liability, but back in those days, guys. But try that. If you really, really want to get serious, try on your day off to just climb ropes for an hour and see how crazy strong it makes you.
There you go. See?
He would go eat ice cream. He wouldn't eat ice cream or sweets or anything, but that was his day. He could do anything. It was 1 hour.
Wow. Hour rope climbs. It's pretty tough, huh? Good. Eli, what you got?
What?
Who's your toughest opponent?
Well, you know, it's funny you should ask that. This is crazy. Flow Wrestling did a deal on me. I have the #1 rivalry in the history of this country for 2 world medalists. I'm 10-8 against Kevin Jackson. 18 matches.
18 times.
18. I'm 10-8 against him. I beat him five in a row. I was 7-2 going into the Olympic trials. So, yeah, I was ranked #1 in the world for 18 months. Took a silver in the world, blew a 2-0 lead, trying to bury a guy just because I was fired up. But 3 U.S. Opens, 3 state titles, you know, a couple. One of the things I'm most proud of, though, while you got the camera rolling, is probably going undefeated 2 years in college. I mean, it's hard. You see these guys have tough matches back and forth. And you know why I think that happened is because of the steady work that I did. I didn't have an off day. I never had to get into shape because I was in shape. All these people go, well, I don't know. I got to wrestle this guy in 6 weeks. I got to get in shape. That was not me. When I competed, from really started competing about 13 to about 31. I retired at 31. I was just in shape because that's what I was. I wasn't, my weight was ready to go. I could go at any time. So to getting in great shape means never getting out. That's my opinion. So I'm not one of those guys, well, I'm going to get in shape for that match, you know. So when I was done, I was done. I never was one of them guys, I'm going to wrestle in this tournament or old folks tournament or whatever. I was done. I walked off the mat, and you don't even know this. I walked off the mat, threw my shoes away, because I wanted to win the Olympics. I wanted to be the best in the world. And I was a silver, and I won 2 World Cups. I've been to Russia 13 times. I won some of the toughest tournaments in the world, but I wanted to be a world gold or Olympic gold. And I kind of lost sight of why you wrestle. You know, I was real hard on myself. And I didn't step on a mat for almost 3 years. I went into another field of business, and I didn't want it because it was so painful. But now that I'm older and I have my own wrestling club and I'm the head coach, I'm not just a coach, I'm the head coach at Titan Mercury. So I take guys like Taylor and Snyder and Dake and all those guys to Europe. And we wrestle Iranians and Russians. And you don't ever lose sight of what this does for your life. We get some people, man, they don't get that goal and but it makes you such a better, it's gonna make you a better father, it's gonna make you better everything, because you're tougher. Nobody has to cut weight, you gotta miss holidays. You know, it makes you tough, it makes you appreciate things more. You don't even appreciate, you know, when I was young, I'd see somebody pour water out, I'd be like, wow, you ever cut weight? You ever get thirsty, that thirsty where you can't drink a glass of water, you gotta make weight? Are you there yet? They don't have to cut weight yet.
Hey, we know how you feel. We're resonating with your story right now.
Don't pour that water out. I used to hide water up in my room in case I had no idea that the world was 75% water. I would hide it. I still have the place, the closet, the hidden closet where I would hide water, and I would hide certain other things. You know, just because I couldn't eat them during the week, and you find them like 2 weeks later, and there's a piece of chocolate cake, and you're like, oh God. So it's been an unbelievable life. And you get, you know what, you win enough, you get a little, somewhat of a feel of a celebrity a little bit. You know, last night we were at a bar, the local, and Zach Brown was there. You know who that guy, stuck in cold weather. And I walked up to him.
His son gets it right there.
I walked over to him, and then we started talking, and he looked at my ears, and we started talking about wrestling. I goes, I know Rulon Gardner, and then the other, the WWE, you know, Angle, and we just started talking. So we took a picture, and then he came over to me at the end of the night. It's Zach Brown. We got another photo. So he was supposed to come here tonight. I can tell you that. That would be unbelievable.
That would
for
be
your event.
Absolutely.
So
pretty awesome. That's awesome.
So,
great question, though. Great question. Yeah, Kevin Jackson. That was the #1 rivalry.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This is a good story too. In '94, that's why I never looked at. Gable would never let me look at the brackets, because then you look ahead. And I didn't really look. I didn't even know who was at my weight. But unbeknownst to me, I had a guy named Kenny Monday move up to my weight, and I had Kevin Jackson. Now, if I'm thinking before the tournament, I got to beat these two guys to win my U.S. Open, I would have probably, you know, not got to him. But I remember getting ready to the semis, and they called Kenny Monday and Royce Alger, and I'm like, and then that was at 11 o'clock on Sunday. So I beat him at 11. He's the Olympic gold medalist. And then I beat Kevin Jackson at 6 o'clock that night. Wow. So the only American to beat 2 Olympic golds in the same day.
Wow.
Wow. And I'm not really bragging. Yeah. I'm just giving you some
But no, but yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know you wrestled both those guys at the same time.
The same day.
Wow. Can you imagine that?
Blanked them both.
Huh? Wrestling 2 Olympic champions in one day? And beating them both? Huh? That's what I tell you. Oh, it's quite the guess, huh? Jake, what you got for him?
started. Well, I had 4 brothers, so I started wrestling at 4 or 5. So, and I still wrestle. I still hand fight. Both my boys wrestle, but my one son wanted to get into music. My other son was 2-time All-State football. So, I never had one that really wanted to drink the water. And the thing is, they were at a disadvantage because I don't live in a farm. I didn't grow up. They weren't growing up farm. They didn't have to get up and chore in the morning. I remember growing up in the morning. It was always dark when I had to chore because it was either after practice or it was in the morning. And you get up early enough, it's always dark. So I just always remember being wet and cold and dark. But it made me tough.
Love it. Jackson, what kind of question you got for him?
Have you ever experienced a major setback, and how did you deal with it?
It's a spirit of major setback, and how did he deal with it? Okay.
That was the one. I was 7-2 against Kevin Jackson, and he beat me to make the Olympic team. And they made me go because I was that good. I could cover 3 weights. I went over as an alternate. I could barely function. That's how hard I was on myself. And it hurt me for 2 years. And it hurt me. I hurt a lot of people around me too. Just emotionally. Not coming home. I took off for almost 6 months out to Susanville, California. I knew a coach out there, and I didn't talk to anybody except for my little brother. I didn't think I'd make it. So, but that's why the sun comes out and you get back up and you keep moving. It's taught me to be really tough. So, but I've had some battles, guys.
It's a tough sport. It doesn't go well for everybody.
It's unbelievable the things it'll do for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a private plane around the world twice. That's less than 0.0001% have done that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's from people knowing who I am because of what I've done and how I did it. So,
and I would probably say a lot too with your personality though too.
Yeah.
I mean that's the one thing you guys. I mean as great of a wrestler that Royce was, and as great of a coach as he is now. I mean he's a I haven't seen him. It's probably been 15, 20 years since and it's like I talked to him last week. He's just one of those people that really enjoy being around. So I think that I would if I had a private plane, I would fly you for the 3rd time.
He said, you know what he said? He said, don't ever change whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another story. I have these 2 kids fly in. This big plane flies in for 2012. Okay, remember Mike Novogratz? He's a billionaire. He did the Bitcoin. Well, he was on a buddy's plane who was a multi-billionaire too, James Dinan, who owns York Capital. He had 2 sons about one was, how old are you?
Me?
Yeah. 11. One was 12, and the other one was like 15. And just that short period, I was talking to him, made him do some push-ups and walk him through. And then I connected with him. I get a call from an assistant saying, Mr. Dinan would like to hire you to be their wrestling coach. I said, oh, really? He goes, well, we live in New York, but we have a plane and blah, 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 and we can work out, if you can do this. So for 5 years, I went out and trained two kids.
Wow.
And I remember one time they came to me in Des Moines, and I went to go pick them up in this crusty old truck that I had. But I have a nice wheel, but I have a truck that I train for every day. And I'm driving up to this private airport, and there's 50 people with their phones on, taping this plane come in. And I said, what's the big deal? The guy goes, that's a G5. That's a $50 million plane. It's going to land at our little airport. It landed, and there was the dining kids go, Royce, how are you doing? And I was right there with that truck, and they got in. So that's surreal. That's like an unbelievable story, right? And I one time I was getting ready to, I was singing in the morning You know, I'm just one of them guys that stick with me, baby. I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady tonight. So I like to sing, and I'll belt it out. And this lady, she was having tea and crumpets to Mrs. Dinan, and she's drinking, and they're having cookies. She's, wow, you can really sing. That is really good. You can harmonize. I got a great bravado. So I left, and I went to work out, and I came back that night, and we were having chicken or something. I was sitting down, and Mrs. Dinan goes, wow, you really made an impression on Mrs. Springsteen. And I go, what? Because, yeah, that Bruce Springsteen's wife is my best friend. So I could have never, only wrestling could put me into that environment.
That's funny.
Upstate New York.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, and that's, I sing, I was in the plays. I was the lead in the play, both my junior and senior year in high school. So I knew that gene was out there. I got musical. And it's good to have that gene. It's good to be, you know, good to be a good wrestler, good at something, be dedicated, but it's good to have a dichotomy or a difference in your life. I wouldn't give up music for anything.
That's awesome. Caleb, what kind of question you got for Royce?
What was your pre-match
What?
Pre-match warm-up.
What's your
Pre-match warm-up.
Oh, you know, I didn't get crazy with it, but I would, like when I wrestled at the team, this is a good question. You guys might be, I would always break a sweat, get it going real good, and then go in and shower and chill, and then I would just come out and chill before my matches. I never went into a frenzy. I would do that an hour beforehand, jack it up, in the shower, cut the pores off, and then go. But it was different. Now you guys got hour before weigh-ins. I had 5 hours, and sometimes the night before. So I don't know if you can't do that. You know, you're going to weigh in an hour before. But I never cut weight my junior or my senior year in college or high school.
Yeah. Wow. Everyone, you guys ask, who else got a question? There we go. Mora.
What years did you go to the Olympics?
I was an alternate on 2 Olympic teams. I never did. That was my biggest setback. I got every year the Olympics goes on. They just call it the Olympics every 4, but every year they name the best in the world. There's a big tournament in track, swimming, everything. It's called the World Championships. And a lot of times it's tougher. Okay? Olympics is peaking at the right time and finding the right year to hit it. I was an alternate on 2 teams, but that was my problem. That was my thing. The guy that I beat 5 times in a row in my life won the Olympics in '92. That was my year, and I should have retired. I trained for 4 more years. Now I have fake knees. I've had 23 surgeries. I'm a journeyman. That's what you call me.
Kenya, what kind of question you got for a co-host?
Yeah, Coach Royce, like for all of your stories, I hear that like life prepared you for wrestling and then wrestling prepared you for life. You were talking about how like growing up, like the things that you did on the farm prepared you for wrestling.
Still.
Yeah. Could you give us some like specific stories about like how wrestling then like also sent you out and like prepared you to be a better person in the world?
Well, Gaby, certainly when you travel enough like I do, you have to. People will not always remember what you say to them, but they'll remember how it made you feel, how it made you made them feel. And I learned through wrestling and coaching that certain guys take certain motivations. You're not always going to be able to scream at somebody. In the business world, it taught me to be. When I went in the business world, I just outworked. Everybody else would come in. I'd be an hour early and stay 2 hours late and work different markets and stuff. So wrestling for sure just blew everything away because I was used to working 12 hours. So most people don't. Most people are regular people. You got a chance to be something special.
Love it. Love it. One last thing. Advice moving forward for not only these 7 youngsters that are pursuing wrestling at a high level, but all the other youngsters we have that'll be tuning in.
That find something you don't like to do physically whatever apparatus, if it's climbing ropes or you don't like straight bar, you don't like this, or maybe it's even swim, and do it, because this is such a shape and mental sport. Don't let shape be one of your opponents. So I'm gonna close with this: a little bit of work every day, not just season. A little bit of something every day. If you could, and this is going to sound crazy, but if you could do 100 push-ups a day, but you won't, there'll be days that you won't do them. But if you could do them, you would see marked improvement within about 7 months, where guys aren't getting rid of that collar you got on them, or that hand strength. I do push-ups on my fingertips too. So that grip is like, wow, where did you, what have you been doing? I said, well, I've just been doing 100 push-ups a day. They say, oh, I'll do that. No, you won't, because they never do. Yep.
That's good.
Dayton Fix do push-ups on that?
What?
Didn't Dayton Fix his dad do?
You know, I don't know him that well. I don't know him well enough to speak for him. I imagine you get to any level, you got to train quite a bit. Yeah. But that's the secret to success, guys. Keep working, work at it every day. Don't let it pile up, and don't put it off. Go for it.
Love it. What do you guys say to Coach Royce?
Thank you so much.
What do you say to Emma for Showman?
Thank you.
You know what? I might not even watch that last week. I might just watch it in my room. I got guys with my